YouTube fans, here again. And I figure why not do this one from the first series of the Equalizer, episode 3 of the first series of the Equalizer. Why not? I said I'll do it, so I'll do it. So the third one, I actually don't mind this one, don't mind it. I remember when I was doing the second episode of the Equalizer and I was reviewing saying you somewhere on the line you could have worked in the Secret Service, and this definitely proves it. Because Edward Woodward as the Equalizer is visiting one of his mates. His mate asks him for help. You've got the ideas with his agents there, and they're trying to bunk him off because he knows too much. And in this one, I like the idea that the Equalizer disguises himself. It's been right, it could be right, it could be wand. I think he disguises himself as a priest or something, or let's say a priest or an homeless person. And when you think about it, he does it in that for other episodes as well. I think this is the first time you see him do it where he disguises himself. So I've got to admit, I do actually like them little tuxes in the Equalizer. Apart from having dagged it, so I actually like that. I also like the fact it has, just like the first story, the very first one, you see him do two different things as the Equalizer. It's not only do you have this story, he's also helping a young lad who's been bullied. So it's just something simple like one, it's to do with espionage, it's to do with saving this guy, and the other thought is saving a young lad who's getting bullied. So I kind of like that little talk. So this lad gets bullied badly. His father finds out. The Equalizer says he didn't want you to know because he's in bias, he's going to be less of a man and all this. And I like the fact that the Equalizer sort of teaches him how to protect himself and how to offend himself and all this. So to cut the story short, the dad had bunked him off a few times, and then by accident he gets shot. And the Equalizer gets pissed because there's one guy who was with the agency, he felt he let him down. To cut the story short, he also has a daughter who's like a ballerina. And this bit always gets me, why didn't they not just bunk her off as well? But they don't. The Equalizer puts her in hiding, these guys pretend to be bobbies, they abduct her, they kidnap her, they dope her up. And I always like the way the Equalizer susses out where they are. So he gets in, he gets the other guy, they break in, they save the girl. The girl goes to slap the guy in the face, and the Equalizer says, no, that's not the way to do it. Again, does the right thing and fucks him over. Now you've got the lads, and because the Equalizer taught him to offend himself, you've got the bully. And the bully comes in, starts on him, and I like the way he kisses his hand, and the father stood there, and he gets respect, and it ends like that. The Equalizer looks, he looks at us, the audience, and you got that date music again. So I don't like this one. Like I say, it has two stories. One's to do with the Secret Service, one's to do with espionage. And the other one's just a simple one to do with a young lad getting bullied. And it's one of these like they always say. They always say you got to stand up to your bullies. In this way, the lad stands up to his bullies. And it kind of reminds me a bit of like the Karate Kid. People can think, the Karate Kid, Pete, come on, it's a series of the Equalizer. So what I mean by the Karate Kid, you got a young lad getting bullied, and he goes on the answer machine and he asks for the Equalizer. The Equalizer, okay, I'm going a bit old cheaty here. He doesn't say teaching martial arts, but he teaches him how to offend himself, how to protect himself, and that's what he does. He offends himself and sticks up for himself, and you could say beats up the bully. It's not like me when I was a lad. I had bullies myself, you know what I mean? You do, and sometimes you've got to stick up for yourself, and that's what he does. He sticks up for himself and offends himself, just like what I did when I was a lad. And his dad gives some respect for that. Because all the way through that episode, he feels himself, he doesn't want his dad to feel that he's easy to be bullied, he's not as much of a big man if he doesn't stand up for himself, his dad's going to be disappointed. And the Equalizer sort of speaks to the father. I like that little touch. I like the bit with the daughter, the bits where she's a ballerina and everything. I just wonder why they didn't just try to bunk her off rather than kidnap her. But, you know what I mean? You got the idea the Equalizer tries to help him. He warns him that he knows too much. And by accident, the guy gets shot. Now, just like the second one, where Equalizer was shooting everybody, you don't see any practical blood splats or any of that. I get it. I know I'm repeating the same line. It's a TV show, so I already know you're not see a lot of blood and a lot of all this. But I don't mind this one. I mean, I just felt it was straightforward. The first story was too espionage for me. It was too much Secret Service. But if you want to look at the Equalizer, where it goes predictable and too predictable, wait till you get to the later episodes of the Equalizer. Some of them do get predictable. But this one, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the story to it. I like the story. This is going to sound daft. It's going to sound daft, but I felt the second story where he was helping a young lad who was being bullied and he was teaching him to stick up for himself. I felt that was more interesting than fucking espionage and Secret Service. And the only bit I thought was interesting was the Equalizer disguised as this eccentric man and people are laughing at him. And I thought, I like that idea where he disguises himself. I like that little touch, but I felt it's going too predictable. It's going a bit fucking. It felt like a show what Edward Woodward did. Remember the show where he played a secret agent? It felt like that episode. You could use that from an episode of that the TV show where he used to be a secret agent. You could have used that idea like that in that episode. It would have felt like that, and that's what it felt like. It felt like one of those episodes. That's why I prefer the second story, but I don't mind them both. I like the idea that he saves the dirt, he gets out of the field, he gets her out of Dodge. I love the way he slapped a bad guy, because this guy, you got an idea he was enemies with the Equalizer. There's a bit where he's in the office and he's testing the Equalizer. In many ways, I go out of fence there. One way, the Equalizer sort of threatens him. And it does, this is like a bad guy. But again, you don't see a lot of people getting shot. You see one person get shot in it. And I like the fact that the Equalizer turned on this guy. Although for the episode, he turns on this guy. But halfway through the episode, he proves himself. He proves he's not a coward. He proves he's not a shitbag. He helps the Equalizer. So it's all like, when I look at it, it's like two people who are not confident, bit whimper. Both of them get the arm mogul, they get the confidence, and that's how I look at this episode. Now, like most episodes, I'm not going to give it points because it's a TV series. I never give TV shows points. A movie, yeah, the TV show, it's only got a lot of running of so much time what they could put in a show. But what they could fit in that episode, I actually like it. I've got to be open, I've got to be honest. I like it, so fuck it if I would do. That's episode 3 of the Equalizer. So into them, be smart, be safe, and I'll be producing more of the Equalizer, more films, and more to come. But into them, be smart, be safe. See you later.